Nature Near Home and Other Papers by John Burroughs. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. To learn more or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Nature Near Home and Other Papers by John Burroughs. Section 6. Wood Waifs. Those little waifs from the woods, chickadees, nuthatches, downy woodpeckers, and brown creepers, that come in winter and feed on the suet on the maple in front of my window, how much company they are to me! What thoughts and associations they bring with them! What a pleasure to have them as my guests on the old tree! The cold, naked, snow-choked woods, what can those little pilgrims get there? I think the nuthatch touches me the most closely. He is pretty to look upon, and his voice is that of a child, soft, confiding, contented, and his ways are all ways of prettiness, his sliding up and down and round the tree, his pose with head standing out at right angles to the body, which enables him to see the approach of danger as readily as if he were perched on a horizontal limb, his pretty habit of making a vise of a crevice in the bark to hold a nut. All his notes and calls are pleasing. He is incapable of a harsh sound. His call in the spring woods when we made maple sugar in my boyhood, yank, 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 how it comes back to me! Not a song, but a token, the spirit of the leafless maple woods finding a voice. And now for 2 or 3 weeks I have had another guest at the free lunch table, the prettiest of them all, the red-breasted nuthatch from the north, and he so appreciates my bounty that he has taken up his temporary abode here, in a wren's box a few yards from the lunch table. One cold day I saw him go into the box and remain for some time. So at sundown I went and rapped on his retreat, and out he came. He spends nearly half his time at the suet lunch. How pretty he is, and as spry as a cricket. About 2/3 the size of the white-breasted, he is quicker in his movements. He glides round the old tree like a spirit. He does not seem to have the extra joint in his neck that his larger cousin has. He does not point his bill straight out from the tree at right angles to it, but turns his head more from side to side. I call him my baby bird, he is so suggestive of babyhood. It is amusing to see him come down upon a fragment of hickory nut when he has wedged it into the bark. Each blow is seconded by a flash of his wings, as if the tiny wings reinforced the head. One day I put out a handful of cracked hickory nuts, and he hustled them all away as fast as he could carry them, hiding them here and there, in the vineyard, in the summer-house, on the wood-pile, whether with a view to hoarding them for future use, or whether in obedience to some blind natural instinct, I know not. The white-breasted does the same thing, but I never see either of them looking up their hidden stores. 2 downy woodpeckers, male and female, but evidently not mated at this season, come many times a day. The male is a savage little despot. No other bird shall dine while he does. He bosses the female bosses the big nuthatch, the nuthatch bosses the redbreast bosses the chickadees boss the brown creeper and the juncos. Not one bird is hospitable to another. Each seems to look upon the suet as its special find. The more inclement the season, the more our sympathy goes out to our little wild neighbors who face it and survive it. The tracks of the mice and the squirrels in the winter woods have an interest for one they could not possibly have in summer, were they visible then. O frost and snow, where is your victory? O white and barren solitude, thou art not all-potent. How distinctly I remember where our schoolboy path through the woods crossed an old bush fence, and the fresh prints in the snow of the feet of the red and gray squirrels, to whom the old fence served as a highway. Those sharp, nervous, hurried tracks, and the silent, snow-choked woods, silent except when the frost pistols snap now and then, how vivid the picture of it all is in my memory. The delicate tracks of the wood mice, and their tunnels up through the snow here and there beside our path, they are still unfaded in my mind after a lapse of more than 70 years. Occasionally the stealthy track of a red fox would cross our trail both in field and wood, never hurried like that of the mice and the squirrels and the hares, but slow, a watchful, listening walker in the midnight winter solitude. Wild life in winter is like black print on a white page. He who runs may read. In summer it is print on a green or brown or gray page. The little waifs from the woods that come to my door day after day in winter, so active and cheery and brave-hearted, heroic little figures that ask no favors of me or anyone, yet who complacently help themselves to the proffered suet and nuts, and go their way like a merry gypsy band, they little know that they are my benefactors as much as I am theirs. End of Section 6. Recording by Edith Fern, Southern California, January 11th, 2009.